World Cup Fantasy Football 2022 is here. Finally. Oh my word, guys. I have been so hyped up, so excited for this, but it's finally here. So, guys, I am going in incredibly fresh here. It's only launched in like the last less than an hour. All I've done is quickly make a thumbnail. I've not even checked this game out at all. I know a little bit about it from playing previous years, but I'm going to go through it today with you guys, and we're all going to enjoy it and learn about it and what's going on with the new game together right now on stream. Apologies for the graphics on screen are still FPL themed, but obviously we will get them updated for the next video, the next stream. We'll make sure there's plenty of content over the next couple of weeks for World Cup Fantasy, and hopefully you guys are going to enjoy playing it just as much as I do, because I love these international tournaments ones. It was really fun to do the Euros Fantasy last year. It's just been, yeah, just good fun. So, guys, welcome to a World Cup Fantasy. Now, first of all, I can see in the chat, you guys are saying, how do we find this? How do we find this? Well, I'm going to post a link in the chat. And for those of you guys who are watching this as a replay, I will also put a link to play the game in the video description, but there is the link to the website for you to go and check this out for yourselves. I'm very, very hyped up about this. Let's get straight into it. So, here is the opening screen as you come onto the website. Build a team. Select 15 players with a 100 million budget. So, similar. It's what we used to with Fantasy Premier League. Same situation again. Pick a captain. Each match there, your captain scores double. So, again, very, very familiar. We know that captains score double points. Next up, manage your team. Make transfers and subs to keep your team fresh. So you can do that each game week as you go through. And apply boosters. So these are the equivalent of your chips. So the chips are 12th man, power captain, and wild card boost. So this is what is slightly different from FPL. From Euro Fantasy, from Champions League Fantasy, whatever you're used to, the chips are going to be slightly different this year. Now, I don't know too much about them. I've only read very briefly, but we're going to go through the chips and how they work as well. But as far as I'm aware, 12th man, you get an extra player. Power captain just boosts your captain by even more points than usual. And wild card is pretty familiar. Right, so let's get on with it, guys. Let's start off by creating a team, and hopefully you guys are all going to be creating your teams alongside me. Yeah, hopefully you can see in the chat or in the description how to access it. I know you guys are asking for an app. I'm not sure if there is a mobile app right now, unless anyone can find it, but I haven't found a mobile app yet, but I imagine it'll be on the official FIFA app unless they make a new app. So FIFA as in the organizing body of the tournament, not the game like FIFA football video game. We're talking the actual FIFA team there. So yeah, for now, if you can't find the app, you can still, if you've got a browser on your mobile phone, maybe you've got Safari, maybe you've got Chrome, whatever you've got on your mobile phone, you can still use the browser, but you're going to have to use the link. You have to use a browser, no app right now, but the app, I'm sure, will be coming over the next couple of days. So, let's have a look, guys. Let's have a look indeed. So, what have we got here? Well, we've got a treat. We've got a very large treat. So, oh, I can hear myself from my headphones for some reason. Hello. Have I got audio monitoring on? I think I might do. Right. Let's have a look here. Let's add a player. Goalkeeper, first of all. I think that's a sensible place to start. We'll start with a goalkeeper and move on swiftly from there. Here are the goalkeepers. So we've got some expensive ones. I am going to probably make an early shout that the expensive goalkeepers are probably not going to be too worth it. So we kind of want to pick a goalkeeper who is on the cheaper side, who's maybe going to be keeping us some clean sheets, that doesn't cost too much money. I'm immediately eyeing up maybe an England goalkeeper, but I don't know who England goalkeeper is going to be for sure. Usually Jordan Pickford, isn't it? But there are some other options here. So let's see. So who do we reckon will keep some clean sheets? Denmark are usually pretty good for clean sheets. They're not on the game at the moment. There's maybe a few players missing at the moment, so we may have to bear with that a little bit. We've got USA potentially. Could we potentially go for Matt Turner? It's not the worst shout in the world. Pretty easy group there for USA. England's the only difficult game, right? So maybe we might have to change that about and kind of decide for a certain team later, but let's just make a team for now, and then this obviously will not be anywhere near the final team. Let's go for some defenders. What kind of defenders have we got? So let's have a look here. Anyone who looks nice. Denzel Dumfries is always a really good shout for the international tournament, so I'm going to stick him in. Let's see what else we've got. Nuno Mendes looks pretty nice. Reece James is going to be probably injured, so we won't be going for him. As with Ben Chilwell, is there a Luke Shaw anywhere? Maybe Luke Shaw for the England clean sheets might be quite nice. 5 million for Luke Shaw. That's a decent price for him. Let's go for him. Maybe, you know, Kieran Trippier might be worth thinking about as well for the international game, possibly. I mean, I'm thinking about it. I can't lie. I can't lie. Who else can we go for? We're gonna have to go for some cheap players somewhere. So we just throw in some random players for now, and then go from there. If we can find any hidden gems potentially. Boyata for Belgium, pretty good group that he's got there. Tariq Lamptey for Ghana. Wow, I forgot about that. Garbadol, they've got a pretty decent group as well, so let's go for him. That's pretty nice, I would say. Now let's move on into midfield. I feel like we do need to go for some heavy hitters at some point. De Bruyne, probably going to be one of the top players of the tournament, and he comes in as a midfielder as well. So let's go De Bruyne. Is it worth thinking about any attackers? Maybe we should go for some forwards next and see what we've got in offers in terms of forwards. Like Neymar, I feel like he's going to have a huge tournament. 10.5 million for Neymar. I actually think that Neymar is probably going to end up being the player of the tournament. He is in such good form at the moment. He's like in the form of his life. And Brazil are actually the favourites right now to win the whole tournament. So I'm going to go for Neymar for 10.5 million. I think that's a decent price for him. So let's stick him in. Can we maybe go for a Mitrovic, maybe? How expensive is Mitrovic? Let's find Serbia. 7 million. Decent price. Decent price. So that's two forwards in there. Mela for 4.5. Is that right? Oh, we may have to think about him. Should we put him straight on the bench? Where are you, Mela? There you are. Let's stick you in. We'll stick him on the bench for now, and maybe we come back to that. Boyata won't play at all. Will he not? I will obviously need to do some more heavy research on this, but certainly from previous tournaments, he's been pretty good. Mids could be king, says Dan Cross. Mids and forwards, same points for goals. Oh, is that right? Well, in that case, forwards could be king if forwards get the same points, surely. There is no app. There's still no app. I put the a link to. I'll keep like spamming the link in the chat. But if you want to play, click on that link. Right, we need more midfielders. Damsgaard. He's also a very good Denmark player. Pretty cheap. Let's go for him. I feel like you guys are probably going to want me to go for like Messi, right? I don't know if I'm ready. I don't know if I'm ready for Messi. Let's see. I might even go for a 3 forward formation. Phil Foden, Saka. Do I back England a little bit here? I feel like if I'm going to back England, I may be thinking about Raheem Sterling. Let's change our formation. How do we do that? I don't actually know how to change the formation. I will work it out. Maybe it doesn't let you do it quite yet. You have to move on to the next thing. So, all right, let's put Sterling on the bench and then we'll move things around. We don't want goalkeepers. Raheem Sterling. 8.5? It's not the worst price in the world. It's not the worst in the world. Yeah, like I say, guys, no app yet. So, yeah, we are going to be having to use our browsers for now. Okay, so that's a pretty strong forward line. Neymar, Sterling, and Mitrovic is the cheap guy, I guess. It kind of makes midfielders kind of difficult if they're scoring the same points as forwards for goals. Who would we actually want? Dusan Tadic? You kind of got to fancy Serbia as underdogs. Maybe we go for someone like Tadic. Is Granit Xhaka on here? 7 million. Not bad, not bad. Granit Xhaka, let's stick him in. Can I pin the link? Can you pin things in... You can. Okay, right. I'm pinning the link. There you go, guys. Good idea. No Mbappe. You can't have them all. You can't have them all. Let's see what budget we've got left. I think we're going to be a little bit stretched for budget here. But let's find some, like, a super cheap defender. Like, who's the cheapest defender in the game? And then we'll just... we'll put him in as a kind of last on the bench option. Is there any that I feel like may play? I'm sure there is some in here. There's 3.5 million defenders. That's really cheap. Any of these players, guys, players who play regularly, some of these names I am not too familiar with. Obviously, we'll get our research done, but for sure. But Araujo? Is he going to start for Uruguay? If he is, that seems like a really good price for him. Is that hidden gem? I'm going to stick him in. 3.5. Hey, can I not? Will it let me put him in? I don't think it's letting me. Why is it not? Oh, it's because I got Mailer on the bench there. All right. Should we maybe... You know what? I'm going to remove Boyata. And I'm going to put in... How am I spelling his name wrong? Let's put you in. Let's go. Let's go for some... Try and get some cheaper players. Then we can maybe think about upgrading like Mitrovic. Oh, he's injured? Oh, he's injured. Okay, well, that explains that. All right, well, I'll leave him in there as like a 3.5 million placeholders. Okay, Sosa, 3.5 million for Croatia, starting left back from Hola Stamos. This is why I need you guys. Like, you guys are from all around the world, I'm guessing, watching this. So I'm sure you have those little hidden gems from your own countries or countries you're more familiar with. In that case, we'll maybe get rid of you and put in... I do like... Is Boyata not a starter anymore? He always was previously. I'm going to put him in for now. Again, guys, pinned comment in the chat is the link if you want to play this for yourself. Right, we need midfielders, guys. We need midfielders. In fact, we need we need 2 midfielders and a goalkeeper. So, midfielders. Yeah, I'm not too... Like, is Anthony going to start? Probably not, I would say. It's probably going to be difficult for Anthony to get too much game time. He's certainly not going to be nailed on. Di Maria could potentially be playing. Eden Hazard is just not the guy he previously was. Perisic listed as a midfielder, which is not ideal. Where do we go here? Where do we go? We want to get those midfielders who are going to get us points, you know? He Chang Huang? You know what? Not considering he's missed it as a midfielder. People saying no Haaland. Hell yeah, no Haaland. He's not at the tournament. All right, that's a pretty good price. Okay, so we need a goalkeeper. How much? We'll go for a cheap backup goalkeeper. Anyone know if any of these kind of 4 million goalkeepers are starting for your respective country? Let me know. Like I said, we'll do lots of research by the time we actually... Hey, Nick Pope. He's got a chance of starting for England. Surely. Like, on form? If Nick Pope is nails himself down as the England goalkeeper for 4 million, then that's pretty mad, right? Pretty mad. Zoom out, you can't see everything. I mean, yeah, to be fair, I can try zooming out a little bit, but I don't know if it's going to make things worse or better. How does that look? Now I can't see very well, so I'm going to zoom in one more. Think that's pretty good for you guys? That's not bad. I'll make sure everything is looking much nicer. So, we've got one more midfielder to get, and we've got loads of money. I think what we're going to do is we're going to get rid of Mitrovic, and we're going to upgrade him to a better forward, and we're going to go for... I kind of like Mitrovic for this tournament. Maybe do I get rid of Sterling? Okay, let's remove Sterling. Maybe we go for Harry Kane. Let's go forwards. Harry Kane. 11 million though. That is quite expensive. But he's got such a good group. He's got such a good group. Double England goalkeepers. We could do, but Pickford is 5.5. That's quite a lot. Forwards are getting 1 point for every 2 shots on target. That is mad. It seems like forwards are the way to go. We're going to have a look at everything. We're going to have a look at the scoring. I just wanted to make a team first. I've got Luke Shaw in defence for England, so I've already got that kind of covered. Right, we need a midfielder. I don't want to spend too much on my next midfielder. So we're going to go reasonable. Or should we just go for the forward first? Should we stick in like an Mbappe or a Messi or someone like that? Messi is 10.5. Not great in knockout, but we're really looking at the group stages first of all, aren't we? Lukaku, is he fit? Is he available? Should we just go for Mbappe? Let's just go for Mbappe for now. That leaves me 4.5 for a midfielder. There's not going to be too much options here, if I'm honest. Let's see. Tough. Yeah, there's not really much going on for 4.5 million for midfielders. Does Pereira still start for Argentina? I don't know. I'm not seeing too much. Okay, let's just put in for now. We're gonna put in Pereira for now, but I imagine he does not stay in. Right, let's confirm that. I need to create an account. All right. How do we do that? Let's create a FIFA account. All right, I'm going to hide my screen quickly, guys, whilst I enter my personal details because it looks like I need to put in, like, everything. So I'm just going to hide my screen for you guys. We're going to hide that there. And you could just imagine... You can just imagine whatever I'm doing right now. Put my birthday in, which, by the way, guys, if you want to remember my birthday, it's the 28th of December. Happy birthday to me for then. I hope everyone sends me football shirts in the post for me to open on my birthday. I'm just kidding, of course. Aha, apparently I already have an account. Okay, this is interesting. I will use that. Okay, cool. Hang on, we're getting there, and I'll show you where we are on screen. Bale, people saying Bale. My username should be password, is that right? Right, my username. I hope no one's taken FPL Mate. No one is taking FPL Mate. Huzzah. Okay, I've got that then. Right. I think I'm logged in. Right, okay, let's show you the screen again. Right, we're back. Yeah, so here we go. There's my team. The budget is all gone. All of it. Every single bit of it. I say, let's create a league first of all for you guys. Let's call the league youtube.com/FPL Mate. It's going to be a public league. Actually, is it public or private? I think it's private. Right? And then we'll just send all of you guys the code. League name... Oh, okay. Let's just call it the FPL Mate. Anyone got a good name for a league? FPL Mate. FPL Mate Super League. Can we change it later, maybe? You can edit the team after you make an account. Yeah, you can edit your team all the way until deadline. So FPL Mate Super League. Let's make that 2 words. And then, there we go. So, invite code. I'm going to post in the chat. And obviously, guys, I'll put the link there as well. And we'll put that in the description as well when that's done. There we go. Done. Cool. Right. Hopefully to see a few of you guys join. Right. Now I've got a team. Now I've got a league. It is now time to read the rules. Boring, right? No, very interesting. The rules are important. So, introduction. Welcome to Fantasy Classic, where you can compete by creating your own team of 15 players who will score points based on their actual performances during the World Cup, challenging your friends and millions of users globally. Below is a step-by-step guide on how to play, including registration, creating your team, making transfer, scoring, and everything else you need to know to get you going. So let's skip the registration. We get it. The team creation, we probably get it. It's very, very familiar stuff. And let's try and get to the interesting bit. So here's where things do get a little bit interesting. So, tournament stage. So we're looking at group stage first of all. So you can have 3 players per nation. So, same with Fantasy Premier League, 3 players per nation. makes a lot of sense, right? Round of 16, 4 players per nation. So because when the tournament goes on, obviously there's less teams in the tournament. So the further you go on in the tournament, the more amount of players you're allowed to have from each team, because otherwise it will be really, really difficult to make a full squad. So for example, if you go all the way to the final, because there's only 2 teams playing in the final, you only have 2 teams to pick players from, and therefore it makes sense to allow you to have a lot of players. So maybe you go for 8 players from the team you think are going to win, and 3 players from the team you're gonna lose. Maybe you've got that option there. So yeah, I believe the budget increases as well as you get to the later stages, but we'll come to that, I'm sure. Does it say that anywhere here? It doesn't say anywhere here, but I think the budget will increase later down in the tournament because all of the players will be playing for the more expensive teams, I guess. So, let's go on a little bit further. So, you're allowed to add players to your team. Yeah, we know how to add players. You can make unlimited changes to your team up until the first match of the World Cup kicks off at 4 p.m. GMT on the 20th of November. So, that is a key thing to note, that you can make changes to your team up until the kickoff of the game. So that's a little bit different to FPL. In FPL, you have to have your team ready to go, but by 1 hour and a half. So 1.5 hours before the deadline. That's when you pick your team up until on FPL. But in World Cup, you can make your teams right up until the deadline. So as soon as, right up until the kickoff. The deadline is the kickoff. So we'll have early team news every single game. Well, every single first day, right? So there we go. Lots of changes to your team. If you find out that your player is not playing, change them. Switch them out. Switch them out. Captain. For each match day, select a captain. They'll score double points. Makes perfect sense. You can change your captain an unlimited amount of times as long as the new selected captain is yet to play in the current match day. That is interesting. So that's not daily. So I don't know if you guys remember Euro Fantasy, but you could basically change your captain daily. You start off with a captain playing in the first day, and then you move your captaincy to the second day. But from this, what I'm reading, and of course we will make a proper guide on this YouTube channel very soon, where we'll get the absolute 100% answers on all of these questions. But from what I'm reading here, it looks like basically what we want to do is captain a player who plays first. So let's just go through the World Cup fixtures. World Cup fixtures. All right, here we go. So you can see opening game, Qatar versus Ecuador. So if you've got a player who plays for Qatar or Ecuador, maybe you captain them in that game, right? Then you see how they perform. Maybe they don't do so well. If they don't do so well, you can move your captain to the next game. The next game is England versus Iran. So maybe you move your captaincy to England's Harry Kane if you think he's going to do well against Iran. Then we've got the next fixture, which is going to be Senegal versus Netherlands. So if you're not happy with Harry Kane's score, you can move the captain's armband to the next fixture, which is Senegal versus Netherlands. Maybe you've got a Memphis Depay in your team. Maybe you've got a Sadio Mane in your team. If so, captain, boom, done. If that works well, then you stick. If it doesn't work well, you move your captaincy to the next fixture. A player in the next fixture. You could keep moving your captain, until you are happy with the score that your captain has got. That is what we're talking about. That is what we're doing. So hopefully that makes sense, guys. Right, next up, substitutions. So when creating a team, you also select 4 players to be located on your bench as your designated substitutes, one of which must be a goalkeeper. So substitutes don't count towards your score, but your substitutes will become active in your team and replace a did not play player in your starting 11 automatically. So, okay, same as FPL so far. But can you make in-play substitutions? This is my question. Okay, you are able to sub out a player in your starting 11 for a player on the bench who has not yet played in the current match day. In this situation, your points for the sub players will no longer count towards your score, and points will be for the sub player will count instead. So again, we've got a similar rule with the captaincy. Got the similar rule with the. I know this is really confusing, guys. By the way, and don't worry. Don't worry, I will make a video and I'll make some graphics to try and explain this in real simple terms. And I know this is kind of difficult to get your head around, but this situation with your substitutions is pretty similar to what we spoke about with the captaincy. So what you want to do is have have a full squad of decent-ish players, and what you want to do is have those players who are playing the initial fixtures. So say you've got like, I don't know, here's all the fixtures from match day 1, right? Say you've got like 11 players who all play in Group A through Group F, right? Okay, so all of your players play in Group A to Group F. Those are your starting players. Then you want to put on your bench players who play in Group G and Group H, because those players you can sub on later on in the game week. So if your player hasn't played yet and they're on your bench, you can substitute them on. So, for example, again, say you've got Lionel Messi in your starting 11. He plays for Argentina in that game in Group C on the 22nd of November. If Messi has an absolute stinker, he scores 2 points, and you say, I think I'm going to substitute out Messi. Well, as long as you make sure the players on your bench are players who haven't played yet, then you can swap out Messi for someone else. So you might have someone from, you might have Neymar on your bench. I know these is just examples, but you might put Neymar on your bench because he doesn't play till like right at the end of the match day, of the game week, if you like. Then have Messi starting. If Messi does badly, you can swap Neymar on. All right. I hope this makes sense. Again, I'm gonna explain this a little bit better with some graphics later on in the week. We're gonna do a proper video about this. But I feel like some of you guys will understand this because maybe you've played Euro Fantasy, maybe you've played a Champions League Fantasy where you do have those in-play substitutions. But the basic tactic here with captaincies and with your subs bench is put the players on your bench who play later on in the game week, and your starting 11, the players who play early in the game week. Then if the early players don't do well, you substitute them out for someone in your bench who is yet to play. Same with captaincy. You start off the game week with your captain on someone who plays in the early games, and then gradually you move your captain from one player to the next player, to the next player, to the next player, to the next player, until you are finally satisfied with your captain score. So it's a little bit more intense, but the opportunity for points is a little bit higher. Like if you have a captain blank, no worries, you can just move your captain elsewhere. If you have a blank in your starting 11, no worries, substitute them off in play and get a second roll of the dice, a second bite of the cherry, if you like. So again, hopefully that is going to make sense. But it's a really fun rule, and World Cup fantasy, international tournament fantasy is a much shorter game, right? So when we have this shorter game, it's sometimes kind of nice for that game to be a little bit more intense. And it is intense. Like, you have to concentrate on your team. You have to be making changes to your team every single day. It's not like FPL where you can kind of just do your changes once a week and just leave it. If you want to reach those real top levels of international tournament fantasy, you really do need to be on it, making changes every single day. So how long is one game week? One game week, they call it a match day in this, but one game week is the time it takes for every team to play once. So once every team has played once, that's the end of game week 1 or match day 1. After every team has played twice, that is now match day 2. After every team has played 3 times, that's match day 3 done. And then when we get to round of 16, that's match day 4. So all of the round of 16 games need to be played before match day 4 ends. And then we go to match day 5, which is the quarterfinals, 6, semifinals, and finally match day 7, the final match day, which is just that one game. And as that one game starts, match day 7 starts. Once that game ends, match day 7 ends. So yeah, each match day is going to be slightly different in timings, but it's literally just the time it takes for every team to play once in a round. So hopefully that makes sense. And by the way, guys, if you've got any questions, please do feel free to leave them in the chat. And if you're watching this not live, if you're watching this as a replay, as a VOD, please do feel free to leave some comments or questions in the chat, and I'll do my best to answer them as best as I can. As I say, I have played international tournament fantasy football for, I don't know, like the last 15 years or something like that. So I do kind of know how to play it. On Euro Fantasy, I think I finished something like, I don't know, like 4,000th in the world out of, I think it was about 4 million players or something like that. I'll get the numbers exactly, but yeah, I finished pretty well, like in the top kind of 0.1% of players in the Euro Fantasy. So yeah, I hope to think that I kind of know what I'm talking about. Maybe even more so than with FPL, you know. So, yeah, let's carry on with the rules, guys. So this is where I think things do get interesting. And this stuff is new to me because this stuff is new to the game in general. So we've got boosters, and the boosters are the equivalent of your chips in FPL. So 3 boosters. The first one is the wild card. Will allow you to make unlimited transfers within a specific round. And that cannot be used in the first match of the group stage or the round of 16, because obviously in the... Well, this is also another thing. This is kind of complicated in a way, but trust me, it will start to make sense. So, obviously, in match day 1, you have unlimited transfers to make your initial team. You get unlimited transfers again for the round of 16. So you get to start again. So basically, if you're going to use your wild card, you want to be using it in the group stage. So basically, during the group stage, you're going to have 2 teams, essentially. You can have one team for either game week 1 or game week 1 and 2, and you can have your second team for either game week 3 or game week 2 and 3. So that's going to be it. So you can have a little bit of flexibility there. The wildcard allows you to make those unlimited changes, and it really is beneficial to use that during the group stage, because the most points are up for grabs. The most, fantasy points are up for grabs during the group stages, because in the group stages, that's where we see the really big scores. This is where we see the giants of football play against the minnows of football, and we see some really nice scores. So you really do want to be using these boosters during the group stage. Probably all 3 of them during the group stage. Like, I can't lie. So wildcard will be used to kind of refresh your team. So maybe there's a fixture swing. We'll work that out a little bit later. 12th man. So will allow you to select 1 additional player to score points for your team in a match day. When selected, the 12th man cannot be substituted, captained, or transferred. You can select any player to be your 12th man. That doesn't quite make sense. Man is budget or team restriction. Your 12th man's budget or team restrictions do not count here. Not really fully sure what that means, but what I gather from that is just basically you get to play 1 match day, 1 game week with 12 players instead of 11. And I have to be honest, I don't think with the live substitutions, I don't think that the 12th man chip, or booster should I say, is going to be very powerful at all. Still, I would recommend using it in the group stage, but if I'm honest, I feel like with the live substitutions, your 12th man, you're probably going to have at least 3 players blank in your team. And those are going to be the 3 players that end up on your bench anyway. So what is the 12th man realistically going to gain you? An additional 2 points across a game week? It's probably not too much. So 12th man, I like the idea. And I think a lot of people will like the idea of it as well. But in terms of the utility of this booster, I don't actually think it's going to be that helpful. I have to tell the truth. It's going to be 2 points, right? That's all you're going to get. And finally, Power Captain. So it will allow you to get double points from whichever player scores the most points from your 15-man squad. This player will automatically be assigned captaincy. Now, this I like. Wait, hang on. The single note says the 12-man isn't a sub, it's an extra player. Okay. This is interesting. So you just get to pick a random extra player. In that case, then that's going to be more valuable than 2 pointers. Is that your interpretation of it? Obviously, I will get clarification on these things. So you've got a 15-man squad. This would be essentially a 16th player. And it does say, to be fair, budget and team restrictions do not count here. So I'm guessing by team restrictions, we've interpreted that to mean the restriction of 3 players per team and 15 players per squad. So you're allowed a 16th man, maybe? That's what and you can spend as much as you want if budget doesn't apply. Okay, all right. I think what you're saying makes sense. So, all right, in that case, you get to have for 12th man, you get to have an additional player in your squad who can be anyone you like. You know, if you can't quite afford Messi, but you really need him for 1 match day, you just move Messi in as your 12th man, or Neymar, or Mbappe, or Benzema, or any huge player, Harry Kane, whatever. Okay, that is much better. If that is true, and I will try and get clarification on that, but I believe that does sound more realistic to me. So, I like that. In that case, I like that. But Power Captain, I really do like this. And I've actually kind of seen this exact idea suggested as a chip in FPL. But now it's a booster in World Cup. So, this one, the Power Captain chip, is whoever scores the most points in your team will be automatically captained. Now, that's not going to be as powerful in a game where you can move your captain from player to player, but sometimes you get a player who just scores a crazy amount of points and you just never expected it to happen. Or maybe you rolled the dice You moved your captain from a 15-point player, and you thought, you know what? I think the next player I'm going to captain is going to get, I'm going to move my captaincy within a game week to a player who I think is going to get even more than 15 points, and they end up getting 2 points. Well, I guess this power captain kind of fixes that and helps you move back to that 15-point captain for free. So yeah, maybe that could be kind of useful. It's definitely useful. I don't know if it's that powerful. Like, if it's the case for the 12th man, you can just select any player as a 16th man in your team, then the 12th man is actually probably the most powerful chip of them all. Power Captain could be pretty interesting, but Power Captain is just like to save your butt, basically. Anyway, moving on. So, transfers. So, at each stage of the tournament, you get a different amount of transfers. Pre-tournament, you get unlimited, and then for the following 2 games in the group stage, you get 2 transfers in each. Before round of 16, you get unlimited transfers, so you can completely, like I was saying earlier, in round of 16, you get to completely refresh your team. And then before quarterfinals, you get 4 transfers. Obviously, you're going to have a lot of your players being knocked out, so those 4 transfers are going to be very, very useful. Semi-finals, 5 transfers, and before the final, you get to make 6 transfers. So hopefully that is going to be pretty straightforward. It will all say on screen when you go to select your team for each match day. You're going to see how many transfers you have available. But basically, yeah, you just get to use loads, basically. There's a lot of transfers on offer. In fact, if you factor in the wild card as well, it's pretty much a case where you can just make as many transfers as you want pretty much throughout the whole tournament. You can pretty much choose basically a whole new team every single game week. Not quite, obviously, but pretty much, right? Okay, so during the group stage, 1 transfer can be carried into the next group stage match day. However, due to the unlimited transfers between the last game of match day 3 and the start of round 16, you will not be able to carry a transfer over this stage. Okay, so you can roll 1 transfer, basically, during the group stage. Once a transfer is confirmed, you're not able to reverse a transfer. Okay, same with FPL. You're able to make transfers for the current and next scheduled match day by selecting the desired match day from the round selector. Okay, I think that's just a UI issue, so we won't talk about that one too much. This is interesting. Okay, this looks like this is getting kind of confusing. So, or is this really straightforward? They're just overcomplicating it. So can you transfer a player mid-game week? Guys, is this making sense to any of you guys? Let's read it. So, transferred out player status, has played in the current match day. So, say Kane has already played. And you transfer Kane out and you put in Neymar, who plays later on in the game week, right? Transferred out player will remain in your team. Transferred out player will count towards your team score for the current match day. This makes sense, yeah. Transferred in player won't score for your team until the next match day. All right, that's normal, right? Has played in the current match day, has not played, transferred out, is played in the match. Oh, I'm confusing myself. Oh, wait, hang on. So if both, oh, this is so confusing. Or is it? So, yeah, this is just normal, right? This is just normal. Transfer out players' points will count to your team. Transfer in player won't score in your team until the next. This is just so straightforward. Unless transfer player will be active. Wait, other than this one, this final rule. Okay, this is the final rule. So if you transfer out a player who hasn't played yet, and you transfer in a player who also hasn't played yet, the transferred in player will become active in a user's team and will start scoring from their next scheduled match in the current match day. So you can make transfers during... Oh my word. Okay, so this is the big key difference here. You can make transfers... This game is so complicated. I understand it, don't get me wrong, but not everyone is going to get this. You can transfer out a player in the middle of a game week. So, okay, I guess an example here would be, like, say you have, let's pick another random player. Like, I keep saying Messi and Neymar, so let's just use them again. So, Messi plays before Neymar, I believe. If we find out, if you've already selected your team for match day 1, your team has already started scoring points. The Qatar game has been played, the England game has been played. We're well into the match day. But then we find out news that Messi, who is in your team, has been injured. And he won't be playing in match day 1. Well, you can make a transfer in the middle of a match day and transfer him for Neymar or someone like that. Cows in Holes says, oh my goodness gracious me, the casuals have no chance on this game. Yeah, this is going to be tough. For certain people, this is going to be very tough. But you know what? The advantage us, guys. Like, we are the fantasy Premier League nerds. I know you guys are saying this game doesn't make sense or this game is complicated. Trust me, I will make it make sense. If you don't get it now, I will make sure you understand everything about this game by the time match day 1 starts. I will make sure of it. I will make videos. I'll do some really nice graphics. I will make everything make really good sense. Don't worry. All right. 8. Lockout. Fantasy Classic will implement a rolling lockout mechanic whereby players will become locked as soon as their team plays in the current match day. Lockout will be automatically lifted once all fixtures in the current match day have concluded. That makes sense. So that basically means once your player plays, they are locked in your team. Makes sense. Scoring system. This could be interesting. All right, so this is the scoring, how you get your points. So all players, appearance, 1 point. Wait, so hang on. You only get 1 appearance point, and you get it for playing 60 minutes or more. So you barely get any points for playing. Assist, 3 points. That's familiar. -1 for yellow. -2 for red. Familiar. -2 for own goal. Familiar. Winning a penalty. This was in Euro Fantasy, which I really liked. So if you win a penalty, you get 2 points. So slightly less than an assist. And conceding a penalty, -1. So that's like takes me back to the old days of FPL, where you used to get minus points for like giving away a penalty, which can be quite brutal. Defenders do not like that one. Goalkeepers. So clean sheet, 5 points. Nice. Must play 70 minutes or more, but goalkeepers don't get subbed off typically, do they? First goal conceded, they don't get any minuses, but each additional goal after that is a -1. That's pretty significant. So, okay, so if you lose 2-0, it's a -1. If you lose 3-0, -2. 4-0, -3. 5-0, -4. 6-0, -5, etc., etc. Goals scored, +9. Never going to happen. Penalty save, +3. That seems a little harsh. It doesn't even include penalty shootout. So that +3 seems harsh. And every 3 saves, +1. So same with FPL, right? Defenders. Clean sheet, get 5 points for playing 60 minutes or more. So, to be fair, defenders are getting extra points for clean sheets this year. 5 points instead of 4, which we see in FPL. But again, the more goals they concede, if they get an absolute thrashing, they can get some serious minus points. That's 7 points for a goal scored from a defender. That is immense. 7. Can you guys not quite see this? Oh, wow. You really can't see this. Sorry, guys. I didn't realize you couldn't see. Well, you couldn't see all of it. Or could you see some of the other bits? I don't know. Anyway, we're back on the scoring. So, yeah, a lot of points for scoring a goal as a defender. So we really, really, really want to... we really want to make sure that we are picking some goal-scoring defenders. We really do. That's going to be very significant. Very significant. Midfielders. So 1 point for a clean sheet, 5 points for a goal scored, and 1 point for every 3 tackles as well. Interesting. And forwards, +5 for a goal scored, and +1 for every shot on target. Every 2 shots on target, you get a point. That's pretty decent. That is pretty darn decent. Well. Yeah, so there you go. There's the points. Right, leaderboards. Yeah, boring. Mini leagues, pretty boring. Oh, maybe I should have put my league as a public league. Can I change it? Or should we keep it private so not everyone can join it? Only the FPL Mate gang can join it. All right, and there we go. That's pretty much it. That's the rules. That's that covered. So interesting takeaways here. The biggest takeaways from me are: do not even risk taking defenders from weak defenses or goalkeepers. Goal-scoring defenders are going to be huge Defensive midfielders are not completely useless since they get points for tackles. So, you know, your classic defender, the defensive midfielder is Kante. I know he's not going to be playing at this tournament, but if he was, he actually could get a couple of points. And, yeah, forwards, just for taking shots on target, get points. That's nice, right? That's nice. Let's have a look at my leagues. Can we change this to a public league? Can we change it to public? Yeah, let's change it to public. Then anyone can join. You can see some of you guys are here already. Dan Cross is in there. I know that's a username he likes to use, and hopefully a few of you guys can see your name in there as well. Oh, we've got quite a few of you guys in there already. But yeah, I'll make sure I post a link to this on Twitter as well. I will put it in the video description once this is uploaded. But yeah, I did post a link earlier, but I appreciate only a few of you would have probably got it. Let's just do that again. So if you want to join, that is the code in the chat. Yeah, go into that code, I guess. Copy it and paste. But yeah, I think we'll leave it there. Because I want to go away. I mean, I actually have a video recorded and almost finished edited to go up today, which was going to be another FPL video. So I need to go get that up before tomorrow morning's deadline. I need to make videos. Clearly, I need to make videos on the World Cup. We're going to try and make a much better explanation kind of video. But hopefully that is a kind of an introduction to what we're dealing with here for the new World Cup fantasy game. And hopefully you guys are going to enjoy it as well. So there we go. We'll leave it there. Thank you so much for watching today. Make sure you are leaving a like before you disappear. It really does help out the channel so much. Smash that like. Yeah, it's just really, really useful and helps me out so much. I genuinely appreciate you guys so much who are liking the videos regularly. We'll do some new graphics and we'll get everything looking very nice and fresh and good and awesome. And I'll be back at you with another FPL video tonight, deadline stream tomorrow, and then I guess we're on the World Cup content grind. Let's go, baby. Subscribe if you want to see that. But there we go, guys. Thank you so much for watching today, and I will see you later, mates, hopefully in the deadline stream. Bye-bye.